Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 505, The Great British Bake Off Disaster. Intermediate. It was a sunny Saturday morning in the small town of Littleton, and the residents were buzzing with excitement. The annual Great British Bake Off was about to take place, and everyone was eager to taste the delicious creations of the town's top bakers. Among the contestants was Emma, a clumsy but lovable baker who owned a local bakery, Emma's Sweet Treats. Emma had been practicing for weeks, perfecting her recipes and decorating techniques, but she was still nervous about the competition. As the contestants gathered at the town hall, they were greeted by a charismatic host, Dave. "Welcome, bakers, to the Great British Bake Off," he exclaimed. "Today you'll be facing 3 challenges: a cake, a pastry, and a showstopper. The winner will receive a year's supply of flour and a trophy that's almost as big as my ego." The first challenge was to bake a classic Victoria sponge cake. Emma carefully measured out the ingredients, but as she was pouring the batter into the tin, she knocked over the bowl, spilling the mixture all over the counter. "Oh no, not again," Emma cried, frantically trying to scoop up the mess. Dave, who was walking by, chuckled and said, "Well, Emma, it looks like you're off to a flying start." The other contestants giggled and Emma's cheeks turned bright red. "I'm so sorry, Dave. I'll just have to start again." Emma's second attempt at the cake was a disaster. She accidentally added twice the amount of salt, and the cake ended up tasting like a savoury biscuit. The judges, a panel of 3 esteemed food critics, were not impressed. "Emma, what happened here?" one of them asked, taking a bite of the cake. Emma hesitated before answering. I was trying to create a new flavour, a savoury sweet combination." The judges looked at each other skeptically. "Well, it's certainly interesting," one of them said. The second challenge was to make a perfect croissant. Emma was determined to get it right this time. She carefully rolled out the dough, but as she was placing it in the oven, she knocked over the timer, causing the croissant to burn to a crisp. The other contestants gasped in horror, but Emma just laughed and said, "Well, at least it's crispy." The judges were not amused. "Emma, this is not a joke," one of them said sternly. "You need to take this competition seriously." The final challenge was to create a showstopper, a cake that was almost too beautiful to eat. Emma had spent hours designing her masterpiece, a towering croquembouche adorned with intricate sugar flowers. But as she was placing the final touches, she accidentally knocked over the cake stand, sending the entire structure crashing to the ground. The other contestants gasped in shock, and the judges looked at each other in dismay. "Well, Emma, it looks like you finally managed to destroy the whole thing," one of them said. Emma looked crestfallen, but then she burst out laughing. "I guess I'm just not cut out for this baking business." The audience erupted into applause, and Dave grinned at Emma. "Well, Emma, you may not have won the competition, but you've certainly won our hearts. You're a true comedian, and we'll be seeing you on the circuit soon." As the contestants packed up their things and said their goodbyes, Emma turned to the other bakers and said, "You know, I may not be the best baker, but I'm definitely the most entertaining, and that's what it's all about, right?" The other bakers nodded in agreement, and Emma smiled, feeling proud of herself for having a sense of humour about her mistakes. As the audience filed out of the town hall, they were all talking about Emma's antics. "Did you see her knock over the cake stand?" one of them said, laughing. "I know, it was hilarious," another one replied. "I think she's the real star of the show." And Emma, who was packing up her things, smiled to herself, knowing that she may not have won the competition, but she had certainly won the hearts of the audience. Vocabulary notes. Clumsy, definition, careless and awkward in movement or action. Example, among the contestants was Emma, a clumsy but lovable baker. Similar words, accident-prone, awkward, hapless, inept. Charismatic, definition, attractive and charming in a way that inspires confidence or enthusiasm. Example, the charismatic host, Dave, greeted the contestants with a warm smile. Similar words, charming, confident, appealing, magnetic. Ego, definition, a person's sense of self-importance or self-worth. Example, the winner will receive a year's supply of flour and a trophy that's almost as big as my ego. Similar words, pride, self-esteem, arrogance, conceit. Savory sweet, definition, a combination of salty and sweet flavors. Example, Emma accidentally added twice the amount of salt and the cake ended up tasting like a savory sweet biscuit. Similar words, umami, tangy, bitter, sweet. Skeptical, definition, having doubts or questioning the truth of something. Example, the judges looked at each other skeptically. Well, it's certainly interesting, one of them said. Similar words, dubious, questioning, uncertain, incredulous. Crestfallen, definition, feeling extremely disappointed or disheartened. Example, Emma looked crestfallen, but then she burst out laughing. Similar words, dejected, downhearted, disheartened, crushed. Circuit, definition, a regular route or series of performances or appearances. Example, Dave grinned at Emma, we'll be seeing you on the circuit soon. Similar words, tour, schedule, itinerary, route. Entertaining, definition, providing amusement or enjoyment. Example, you know, I may not be the best baker, but I'm definitely the most entertaining. Similar words, amusing, enjoyable, fun, engaging. Antics, definition, strange or unusual behavior, often for entertainment or attention. Example, the audience was talking about Emma's antics. Did you see her knock over the cake stand? Similar words, stunts, pranks, tricks, shenanigans. Star, definition, a person or thing that is exceptionally talented or famous. Example, I think she's the real star of the show. Similar words, celebrity, icon, hero, sensation. Story written by Leo AI. Image created by Grok 3 AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.
Hello, this is Steve. If you enjoyed the story, please would you take the time to leave a meaningful comment and click on the like icon. If you want to know when the next story has been uploaded, please click on the notify bell icon to be notified. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tell your English learning friends so they can benefit too. Thank you.